Well, LIRR stands for the Long Island Railroad. It has a double meaning. Most people who take the train here in New York, they're not going to say the Long Island Railroad, so they just say that they're going to take the LIRR. And when I decided to do this project, one day I just said LIRR. I said, that's like liar. And it was just like God said, LIRR, here's a gift of creativity for you. So yeah, that's what LIRR stands for. Do I think she will be upset? I know that she's upset about this. But I think this is the question I get most from people about it in my inbox or my DMs. They're always asking, do I think she's gonna be mad about this? Well, yeah. If I were her, I'd be pretty mad that somebody wrote, you know, an entire album about me. However, I would have to look in the mirror and say, well, what did you do to inspire those songs? And you can only be mad at the truth, because I'm not a person that's going to exaggerate. I'm not a person that's going to make up something. I'm only going to tell you my truth and facts. I'm one of those people, I live my life by facts. So if it's not factual, it's not really going to come out of my mouth. So when you listen to LIRR, you have to know that word for word, lyric for lyric, it wasn't to be catchy. It wasn't to be creative. It's what happened. And it just so happens that I was able to take that and put it into song format. And it is what it is. So is she mad? Yeah, I think she is. Do I care? Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, this right here, the situation isn't about her. It's about me. And it's about me expressing myself, sharing my story with other people who this may have happened to, and trying to move forward in my life. And I'm almost certain that when it went down in the LIRR parking lot, nobody cared if I was upset. So it is what it is. It's not revenge at all. It's just what happens when you do this to a creative individual. I don't know, but yes, I think she's mad. Okay, so while I did just tell you that the songs are literal, I didn't actually go to the parking lot that night. That's not how I found out about the parking lot. That information came to me later, where, you know, obviously there were conversations that happened, and I'm like, well, when, where, who, what, how, because you know when you're with somebody, you're married to them, you know where they are kind of 24/7, and it's like, where did you have the time to do any of this? That's how I found out that, you know, the parking lot came into play. So I didn't actually go to the parking lot, but I was told later that that's where everything went down. So yeah, no, I didn't go to the parking lot. I didn't actually like catch it in the act. Writing LIRR was like a random process. To be honest with you, the first song that came to mind for the project was actually Part-Time Mother, which is PTM. I think it's track number 2. I was listening, I love 80s music, and I was listening to a Stevie Wonder song, and I was like, you and me, part-time lovers, and I was like, you and me, part-time mothers, and that was the start of LIRR. It was funny because I came up with that in my head, but it wasn't the first song that I actually sat down and wrote. The first song I actually sat down and wrote was LIRR, and my brother, shout out to Rich Latta, for producing 3 tracks on the album. He produced LIRR, he produced Love to Hate, and Talk. But anyways, my brother sent me the beats, and I wrote the verses to LIRR. It was like, they came so naturally, like, you know, came around 2010, we was just friends, crazy how we are now versus back then, how could I know that I was just a new trend, how much you really didn't like Michael Jackson. I mean, it just came, right? And then there was the blank space for the chorus, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what the hell, because I'm not really that good at choruses, I'm not a singer. So then I was like, and I was like, you are L-I-R-R, you are L-I-R-R, you's a liar, baby, you's a liar, baby girl, you's a liar. And I stopped and I said, na 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 na, That night in the parking lot, you defined a thought, so just pass me by. He hit it raw, I came home from work, and you looked at me straight in my eyes. And it fit. Now anybody who does music knows you start doing that. You start counting syllables. And when you find lyrics that fit in that number of syllables that you need, it's over. My favorite song off LIRR is Get Out. I'm not quite sure why Get Out is my favorite. It's almost like when I listen to LIRR, that song hits me in the heart the most. Each song kind of like, the way it's pieced together, it tells a full story. Get Out is song number 3 on LIRR, and by the time you reach Get Out, I had already found out about the affair. I had already confronted, was on my way to confront his wife. So when you get to Get Out, I was at that point where I needed to get out of the house. She said I had to leave, but you don't gotta leave today, but you gotta leave. And I needed to get out sooner than later because I was like, I felt like I was dying. I don't know how else to describe it. And there was one day that I went to go get my clothes, and I'll never forget this. You need to come get your shit so I can move on with my life. And when I walked in the house, my clothes were all, all over the bed, and I just hit the floor. I mean, I hit the floor like somebody punched me in the face, and I was just hysterically crying, and I couldn't get off the floor, and there was no concern for my feelings. She started setting up boxes, and where is it? She had, matter of fact, I think this is the tape right here. Just this, that sound of the, and then putting it on the box. And I was like crying, and I couldn't get up. Get off the floor, stop crying. You know what? I can't deal with this. I'm gonna go upstairs and have Chinese food. And I listened to everybody upstairs eating Chinese food and laughing and having a great time, and my whole life had just fallen apart. My son is upstairs. I mean, it was crazy. So when I hear Get Out, it takes me back to that moment. And there's a lyric in Get Out where, well, the second verse, and I'll say it for you here. Every day that passed, I lost more weight. I couldn't eat or sleep. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even stand on my 2 feet. And I cried to friends and I cried alone, but nothing really helped. Nothing until I knew I had to get out and find myself. Well, there I is. Here I am. Who we was, don't give a damn. 7 years, all a lie. Wipe these teardrops from my eyes. Can't deny the pain, won't deny the fear, but I did not die. I'm standing here, and for all I know, it's for me to grow. I won't cry no more. That whole verse is about me and about what I went through when I was on that floor. And my good bud called me up. She heard me in hysterics, and she said, Takia, get up off the floor and get out of that house. And I will never forget that. So Get Out. It's my favorite. When I see her, I don't really feel anything. I'm pretty indifferent at this point. I feel annoyed most of the time because the conversation is usually trivial and we're like strangers. So for the most part, it's more a feeling of annoyance. Sometimes I feel anger, but not so much anymore. I think in the beginning, I was really angry when I would see her. But right now, it's more of an annoyance. Like, you know how you see that gnat that's just, and you're like, that's how I feel when I see her. You will be able to get LIRR on my website, www.atbmj.com, where you can download the file right onto your computer and you can put it into your iTunes or your Google Play or whatever it is that you use. You should also be able to stream it on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, pretty much the major media stream websites. Yeah, and it's free. So definitely check it out. That's where you can get it. So LIRR comes out on October 13, 2017. That this year happens to be Friday the 13th. And the reason why I chose that, anybody who knows me knows I love horror movies, the horror genre. I love Halloween, October, everything about it. And if you know about Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees, every camper that he comes across, he murders them. And so I want to treat this situation like a camper and kind of just murder the whole situation, because when LIRR comes out, I don't want to talk about it ever again. I want to kill the situation. So Let's murder it.